As we all know, the last 6 months have been a time like no other. Today we launch our Trustees Report for the accounting year to March 2020, and we celebrate our many achievements. But I also want to take this opportunity to share some reflections on how we've responded to more recent challenges. First, I want to thank you all for joining us today. All of our wonderful volunteers, staff, trustees and ambassadors, our generous funders and supporters, and everyone else who has worked with us. It's been a hard test for us, but I believe we have risen to the challenge. We've made great strides in delivering our 5-year vision, Roots to Change. We said we wanted to show the way forward in rehabilitation, based on the ethos and expertise that underpins all of our work. I'm proud of so much of what we've done this year, but if I have to highlight one shining example, it's been our partnership with Brixton Prison, which has been genuinely pioneering. We're proud to be working with Brixton to create a culture that delivers on Lord Farmer's recommendations. We ask every man on arrival, would you like support to care for your family whilst you're in prison? The tremendous number who say yes begin a journey with us about their lives, their hopes, and the people that matter most to them, their families. In the community, we connect with the prisoners' loved ones to support them through their hidden sentences. We engage with the whole family to prepare for release and offer support for 6 months afterwards. We're really proud to be working with Brixton and excited about the potential of this work for the whole prison estate. We've also continued to deliver family services in all of the public sector women's prisons, including a brand new initiative we're about to launch to test the impact of employing qualified social workers in 2 women's prisons. We remain deeply concerned about the rate of suicide, self-harm and violence in some prisons, and our Keeping People Safe report, which we produced in collaboration with Prison Reform Trust and Inquest, challenged the prison service this year to review how it handles prisoners' families' concerns. Cleo Metcalfe and I spoke at a roundtable attended by Phil Coppell and at a national conference attended by the Lord Chancellor. Pact also delivered awareness training at the HMPPS Families Conference for prison staff, once again proving we are the critical friend to the prison service. We're now developing a practical toolkit and a safer custody website to support best practice in providing worried families with the information and care they need. We work to the principle, not about us, without us. This means we provide the people we serve with meaningful opportunities to shape our work and share their essential lived experience with those in power and influence. I want to thank our ambassadors for their courage and tenacity in sharing their journeys and insights with us to keep us honest. Pact is all about good relationships, about supporting people to build stronger families and to feel that they belong. This is how we build hope. These are our roots to change. We bring together the skills and goodwill of Pact professionals, co-workers in policing, the courts, prison service, probation providers, with faith communities, with citizens. Together we are building the common good. Our ambition is to mobilise 1,000 citizens to deliver life-changing impact for people who get caught up in the justice sector. We are all just people, but we can build community. We can offer people the chance of a fresh start. We can tell people who feel that no one cares, you are worth it. This year, Pact Volunteers have contributed over 63,000 hours of service, supporting people in prison to keep hold of that precious golden thread of family contact, supporting people, men and women, at the point that they leave prison. These are just a handful of the things we did before COVID arrived. And then everything changed. As experts predicted thousands of deaths across the prison estate, we immediately called on prisons to implement measures to reduce the risk to life for prisoners and prison workers, including stopping prison visits. The systems and resources were simply not in place at the end of March for business as usual to be safe. But it was heartbreaking to know the impact this would have on families and on people in prison on lockdown. In March, when all visits stopped, Pact had to leave the prisons and close our office. As the Prisoners' Families Helpline and our independent advocacy, befriending and casework services were being flooded with calls from worried and frightened families, we scrambled to transition to remote working. Through remarkable teamwork and significant investment in IT equipment and software, we not only relocated these teams without a break in service, but grew the number of call handlers, temporarily redeploying our workers and volunteers in other roles to provide remote support to families. During the lockdown, we did what we could to provide in-cell and at-home resources for prisoners, for their children and for their families, all the time working closely to advise and support the prison service in their plans to prepare for the reopening of visits and other parts of regime. We joined the call for greater use of early conditional release for low-risk prisoners at their end of sentence. We offered support to the prison service, and we were disappointed that so little use was made of this scheme. We felt at the time, and still feel, that this was an opportunity lost. We must find the courage to use this and other schemes sensibly and proportionately to tackle the issue of overcrowding, which threatens to re-emerge as courts reopen. We were pleased to see efforts to improve access to phones and the phased introduction of video calls, and we've worked hard to support families to use these new systems. Video calls for prisoners and their families are a welcome addition to the various ways in which people can keep in contact, but they're not visits. So we are pleased to see visits restart, and we are determined to do everything we can to make the experience as positive as possible and to support governors and their teams to restore regimes. We've invested funds and resources into a brand new range of products and services to make visits as good as they can be. We know that visits are likely to be much more daunting than usual, especially for children, so we've created new family-friendly signs and information for visitor centres, offering reassurance about the new measures to keep people safe. We're doing all that we can in these very difficult times. We've carried out diligent risk assessments on everything that we do. We're maintaining the highest standards of health and safety. Our services are COVID secure, but that's not enough. We're also upholding the humanity, the warmth, the welcome, the dignity and the care that we stand for. All of us continue to face great uncertainty. Many initiatives are on hold. We're working hard in these most difficult of times to find safe ways of getting all of our services back where they belong, or to find other ways of meeting our charitable aims. But our vision, our values and mission are stronger than ever. Pact helps to keep men and women in prison safe. We protect and support children who are affected by the imprisonment of their parents or loved ones. We support people to maintain and rebuild their families. Our work reduces the risk of reoffending. We support people in their first few critical weeks after prison. And in the end, all of this is about the common good, the kind of society we all want to live in, with less crime, fewer victims, and people who have gone astray learning to live good lives. A society in which no one is left behind. I want to thank each and every one of you for being with us on this journey. We need to stay strong, stay focused, and keep working together. Thank you.